Hello, my name is Katie Morgan, and this is my submission for Case Connections 4 within the UNE Biochemistry course. The first case that I will deal with is case number 1. Amino acids are vital for proper bodily functioning. They provide the building blocks for proteins, act as substrates for neurotransmitters, and are carbon sources for gluconeogenesis. Nitrogen must be transferred throughout the body to ensure that it can provide necessary reactants for amino acid synthesis, as well as enable the excretion of excess nitrogen. Glutamine dehydrogenase plays an important role in the freeing of ammonia from amino acids. Specifically, this enzyme catalyzes the conversion of L-glutamate to alpha-ketoglutarate and ammonia using NAD or NADP. Both the rate and the conversion of this and direction of this reversible reaction are dependent on levels of NAD, NADP, and ammonia. When there is excess glutamate, the reaction proceeds in the forward direction, yielding alpha-ketoglutarate that can enter the TCA cycle to produce ATP. Glutamate synthase is found in most peripheral tissues. Using ATP, this enzyme has the ability to fix excess ammonia, or NH4+, into glutamine. This helps reduce ammonia levels and plays an integral role in detoxifying the nervous system. Glutaminase, on the other hand, deaminates glutamine to produce glutamate, releasing ammonia. Because glutamine is non-toxic and a carrier of nitrogen, peripheral tissues utilize glutamate synthase to produce glutamine, which then travels through the blood to the liver, where glutaminase removes the ammonia so that it may enter the urea cycle. The urea cycle occurs in the liver during both the fed and fasted state. Ammonia that has been freed by glutaminase or glutamate dehydrogenase is brought into the mitochondria where it produces carbonyl phosphate. This utilizes ATP gained from glucose in the fed state or beta oxidation in the fasted state. Next, carbonyl phosphate combines with orthonine to produce citrulline, which leaves the mitochondria and enters the cytoplasm. Here, an additional amino group is gained from aspartate, and further modifications occur which produce arginine. Arginine is then converted to orthorine, producing urea. Urea is then transported to the kidney, where it is excreted through the urine. During the fasted state, the body needs energy in the form of ATP. It turns to glycogen, fat, and muscles for sources of de novo glucose produced through gluconeogenesis. When the body needs energy, amino acids are transaminated into alanine. Alanine then travels from peripheral tissues to the liver, where gluconeogenesis occurs. First, alpha-ketoglutarate is converted to glutamate, transaminating alanine into pyruvate. Then, pyruvate may be converted using glucose through gluconeogenic enzymes. And then glucose finally travels back to peripheral tissues, where it is used for oxidation and produces ATP. This process is referred to as the alanine-glucose cycle. In a healthy individual, orthonine transcarbamylase, also referred to as OTC, utilizes carbonyl phosphate to convert orthonine to citrulline, an important step in the urea cycle. However, if an individual has an OTC deficiency, carbonyl phosphate builds up in the individual's system and enters an alternative pathway that produces orotic acid. Given our newborn has elevated orotic acid levels, it is therefore likely that she has an OTC deficiency. It is unlikely that enzymes arginosestate synthase or arginosestate lyase are deficient, given her citrulline levels are within normal range. Arginine is an intermediate in the urea cycle downstream of orthonine carbonyl transferase. With deficient OTC function, this individual would have reduced arginine production. Because of this, the individual would need to consume it through their diet, rather than relying on their body to produce it. Thus, OTC deficiency makes arginine an essential amino acid. I will now move on to case number 3. First part of the question. There are 2 major types of amino acids, purines and pyrimidines. The 2 purines, adenosine and guanine, consist of double rings, and the ratio of their mono, di, and triphosphate derivatives are kept in balance to ensure that normal cellular function may occur. Additional regulatory steps are taken to ensure proper purine synthesis. This includes the inhibition of PRPP synthetase by AMP and ADP, and GMP and GTP, and the inhibition of PRPP glutamyl aminotransferase by purine bases. If there were reduced inhibition of PRPP synthetase or of glutamyl aminotransferase, we would see an overproduction of purines. Following synthesis, purines are then degraded through a process called purine salvage. The purine base is converted to uric acid, which is then excreted through the urine. However, improper regulation of this process, whether due to overproduction of purines, reduced purine salvage, or a decrease in uric acid excretion through the urine, can lead to the accumulation of uric acid in the blood. Uric acid accumulation leads to symptoms of gout, namely chronic inflammation. This explains why our patient's toe is so painful. There is most likely a buildup of uric acid, leading to inflammation, placing extra stress on the toe joint. If left untreated, this can then develop into arthritis, which has lifelong implications. In this patient, the individual has increased plasma urate but reduced urinary acid. Therefore, the accumulation of uric acid in the blood is most likely due to reduced urinary excretion. However, gaining additional information on patient history would make us more confident in this choice. Overproduction of purine may occur when an individual consumes too much dietary purine in foods such as organ meat, alcohol, or sweetened beverages. Alcohol has additional implications in that it produces extra lactic acid, which then outcompetes uric acid for excretion. Asking additional questions to the patient regarding diet will help to elucidate whether or not this has led to the gout. Decreased purine salvage is referred to as Lush-Nile syndrome. This is an X-linked disorder that is caused by hypoxanthine guanine phosphoryltransferase deficiency, resulting in the buildup of purines and uric acid. We should take note of family history in order to better determine whether or not which of these three causes may be contributing to the patient's gout. I'll now address the second aspect of this question. The patient recently started drinking regular soda in large volumes, notably up to 4 to 5 liters per day, an exorbitant amount. This dramatically increased his intake of fructose, as sugary beverages are laden with high fructose corn syrup, and he had previously been drinking diet sodas. As fructose is broken down, it utilizes available ATP to phosphorylate the fructose and produce fructose 1-phosphate. The ADP is then converted to AMP, and the AMP is subsequently converted to IMP through AMP deaminase. IMP is a uric acid precursor, meaning that increases in fructose will increase AMP, which increases IMP, which ultimately increases uric acid production. Therefore, the man's recent switch to sugary beverages may have caused the increase in uric acid, which is further exacerbated by the reduced urinary excretion. I would recommend that this individual either stop drinking so much soda or at least revert to diet sodas in order to reduce his sugar intake and alleviate the gout symptoms by reducing the amount of uric acid load in his blood. Thank you.